I'm still looking for the kind of actor I want to be. I'm still trying to maximize my opportunities and be the best I can. There's always room to grow.
Now you've been a leading man in a movie, obviously before with Black Klansman, and you've had significant parts. But to be a leading man in an action movie, no doubt, a Christopher Nolan action movie, what did that mean for you at this stage in your career?
I mean, it's the happiest moment of my life when I got the call. For one, just the fact that Christopher Nolan wanted to meet with me, and we didn't talk about anything specific or as it related to this film. We talked about, our movies, our love for films, with the industry, our relationship to the industry, family, all those kinds of things. But so I had no idea my role in a film of his until I found out. So there was great responsibility, obviously, that I felt as soon as I found out, which I was ready for. I felt like I was born for it. This is what I've been wanting to do my whole life. And the fact that this man would ask me to take on something like this, I was honored, and I was excited. And I want to honor that with hard work and just the dedication to the role, all these requirements, and I think that's what the protagonist, the character, would do. I think he'd have the same approach. So, everything that I've done in my life, I've been told no a lot, and my football career felt somewhat of a failure. So the fact that this man who's Lombardi to me, if you will, asked me to be, a part of his film, there was nothing I wouldn't do.
It's interesting because, I think when you mentioned like you got told no a lot, but we were joking off air about the first time I interviewed you was back when I was at ESPN. This is 2016, and Ballers was such a hot show, and you were playing a great character, much like we've seen before in sports, for sure. A wide receiver that had a lot of opinions and a lot of flash to him. But at that point, I think, I even went back to not necessarily look at that interview, but the interviews you were doing at the time. And obviously, a lot of people were asking you about your father. I flip forward now and looking at some of the interviews you've done in the last 6 months, and really even before then. And it's almost like nobody asked you about your father now. In a weird way, I know you're not embarrassed that your father is Denzel Washington, but is that also a measure of success that you look at? The fact that, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong about this, but it feels like that's not really even a conversation much anymore with you.
That is loaded. Well, let me see. Because
you want your own identity. You clearly from the beginning, you've always been very clear about like wanting your own identity. And of course you would. Like that is natural. So it wasn't a slight, but it feels like at this point you've arrived at a place where like that's not really even something that people care about. I mean, am I misstating that?
I listen. Your words, the guy's ears. I appreciate it. I work very hard in what I do in my job. I think my motivations were engineered differently at the time we had our interview. Fast forward to 4 or 5 years later. That have shifted. I think there's a I've matured obviously, and there's a confidence in the overall more now, and I think that was instilled by Spike Lee, Christopher Nolan. That they didn't give a damn. Excuse my French. They didn't care about who my father was. They didn't hire me because of that. They believed in me. They believed in my abilities. So I think the people that I want to work with, the people that I admire in this industry, those kinds of people, they don't care about who my father is. They just need the job to get done. So, and people, I'm able to, express myself through these characters. I kind of live a private life. I'm not really active on social media. I kind of just live my life and let my work do the talking for me. So when I did those interviews then too, it was kind of my first time doing interviews. I didn't do interviews on purpose because I just wanted the work to get done, because I didn't want that to overlook or influence anybody one way or the other if they think I did a good job, if they relate to the character. There's something about the mystery of it that helps the performance be lived in and experienced in its true form. I somewhat still want to be like that way in some regards, but if people bring it up, my relationship towards the subject has shifted, is changed. So people bring it up, that's fine. But if people are not bringing it up, then that means I'm doing my job, and it means that people are doing their job in asking questions that relate to the film and to me, and my relationship to the industry.
And I hope that this was attributed to you correctly. You had what I thought to be a very thoughtful quote. You said, I'm still trying to find the actor I want to be, but I know what kind of talent I want to be around. Hopefully you actually really said that. But you are credited with saying that. And so I say all that to say is that have you, especially during this time when you're doing so much, have you figured out the actor you want to be?
If I said yes to that, then I might as well stop doing it. I mean, for me, the point of what I'm doing is to always grow. And football, as the game slows down for you, so does your body. So like at 30, 31, like when I can see the whole field, at least at a running back position, I might not be able to get to the spots like I used to, but I can see it before it happens. But in this industry, as I get older and wiser, the game can slow down for me as well, but you can always learn. I mean, I learned that with the Spike Lee and Christopher Nolan. They're still students of the game, and they don't, what can you possibly teach them? What can they possibly learn that they don't know already? They've forgotten more than I know already in this industry. So, so that's very encouraging, that, my betters, my heroes, feel this way and have this approach towards the industry, towards their job, towards the process. So I'm still looking for the kind of actor I want to be. I'm still trying to maximize my opportunities and be the best I can. There's always room to grow. I'm able to, there's these experiences, those two directors that I named have given me great hope in that you can manifest, what you can manifest your dreams, and that's collaborating with artists like that. That's all I want to do. I want to keep learning in this industry, be able to continue to create content and tell these stories with people that are really good at what they do. And not just that, they love what they do, because there's great medicine in what we do and in these films, and which is the medicine that I received as a kid, as a teenager, growing up and thinking that I can do anything. I used to put myself in pretend I was certain characters based off of movie I saw in my real life to help me through issues I had as a child or issues I had as a teenager, to get me through things, to help me persevere, because those are it was something about the magic of film that I've always been just appreciated and moved by.
You said a second ago that and I think you just meant this in a literal sense because you didn't become, I guess, a big NFL star, that you looked at your football career to some degree as a failure. I think that was the term that you used. Yeah. But when you think about how football led you to this point, I mean, do you still see it in those terms? Because do you get to hear, if you don't go through the football part of it, that it sounds like, just based off what I've read and interviews I've seen, that it allowed you to really gain a lot of like mental toughness and a lot of life lessons that you still use?
I'll put it like this: I wouldn't change a thing. I really wouldn't. Of what happened to me, I see it as a failure because, you get so close, but yet you were so far. You make it, and then to the NFL, and you don't get the shot, and you think it's something you did. It could have been circumstances beyond my control. I worked so hard every day in and day out. Every practice was like the Super Bowl for me, and I a lot of those lessons I'm taking with me to this industry. Number 1 on the call sheet doesn't matter. Number 5 on the call sheet doesn't matter. I feel like you can get replaced at any moment, because that's what the NFL was. Guys get, they work out new players every Tuesday. I see guys get cut on week 17. Guys still get cut. I heard stories like people getting cut during the Super Bowl week. You know what I mean? So I just I've always kept that mentality, and in my spirit, and the camaraderie, just the working together for the common good or the common goal of the team. All those like life lessons that I was able to accumulate and they're able to gather, I definitely apply in this industry for sure. And I wouldn't change a thing. Everything that happened was supposed to happen, kind of like the movie. What happens, happen, as they say. Neil's character, Robert Pattinson's character, says in the film, what happens, happened. So I wouldn't have it any other way because it led me to this moment right now, for sure.
When you were finally done with football, did you may not be playing, but did you still enjoy the game, like watching it or that?
I got to be honest. The industry, the business of it, I was in my feelings a little bit. I was a bit sensitive to what I saw other players go through, what I thought I went through. So it robbed me a bit of the joy of it. At its core, the purity of the game was robbed a bit because of, how the industry is, I guess, if that's a lame way to say it. But so it took me, a couple of years to get back to watching it on a regular. But I love football, I really do. It's a beautiful sport, and I commend all the people out there that are pursuing it. That's what they want to do. Go for it, because it gave the football gave me a lot. It really gave back to me, and so. It did take me a minute though to watch the NFL. Yeah.
Now I saw you. You said this before, and I'm wondering if you still feel the same. That if you had a son, you said you wouldn't really advocate for them playing football, not for health reasons, but because it is a business. It is a harsh business. Careers don't last long. A lot of those things. Do you still feel the same way?
Well, as I was alluded to before, I've matured a bit, and so I would say now I would like to change and mature my answer by saying, more specifically, I would have terms for him. I would say, if you want to go to the NFL, you have to graduate. That's the only way I'll let you. So if you can play, so that means you can play, you can earn a scholarship, no problem. But if you have NFL dreams, those dreams must be shared with a degree.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one.
So, I mean, it's not not too deep, but just that's what I'd say. You have to, if you want to play in the NFL, you have to graduate. Period.